In the years immediately following World War II, humanity believed it could conquer anything: disease, nature, even the human mind. Behind sealed doors, far from public eyes, Soviet scientists asked a forbidden question: what happens when a human being is never allowed to sleep? The answer, if this story is true, was far worse than anyone imagined. 5 political prisoners were selected. Their crimes were never disclosed. Their names were erased from records. They were offered a deal: 30 days inside a sealed chamber. No sleep. No escape. If they succeeded, they would walk free men. The chamber was equipped with food and water, a toilet, books, beds, deliberately made useless. The air was filled with an experimental gas, designed to keep the brain awake without killing the body. There were no cameras inside, only microphones. The experiment began. The first days passed quietly. The prisoners talked. They read aloud. They laughed. They discussed memories of life before prison. Family. Freedom. From the outside, the experiment appeared successful. No one slept. No one panicked. The scientists believed they were witnessing progress. On the 5th day, everything changed. One of the men began screaming. Not in fear, not in pain, but in pure, uncontrollable terror. He screamed for hours. When his voice finally gave out, he collapsed, still awake, eyes open, breathing shallow. The others did not react. They simply stared at the walls. Conversation stopped entirely. The men avoided the window. They avoided each other. Whispers were heard through the microphones, words without meaning. The scientists attempted to communicate. No response. Sleep deprivation was no longer the problem. Something else had taken its place. By the 2nd week, physical changes became visible. Eyes were sunken, skin pale and tight, movements slow, mechanical. Pain seemed irrelevant to them. One subject injured himself and showed no reaction. Another laughed quietly for hours. When scientists asked if they wished to leave the chamber, a single voice answered, "We no longer want to be freed." On the 15th day, the scientists panicked. The gas was turned off. Fresh air was released. They demanded confirmation of identities before opening the door. A calm voice replied, "We no longer remember who we are." When the door opened, the experiment ended. But the nightmare began. Not all 5 were alive. Those who survived were unrecognizable. They resisted sleep violently, even when sedated. Doctors observed something impossible. Sleep no longer restored them. It destroyed them. One by one, the survivors died shortly after falling asleep. One man remained alive, barely breathing, barely conscious. A scientist asked him one final question: "Why did you do this to yourselves?" The man whispered, "We were never meant to stay awake." He closed his eyes and never opened them again. Officially, the Russian sleep experiment never existed. No files, no photographs, no proof. But the story refuses to disappear, because it asks a question science still cannot answer. What if sleep isn't rest, but protection?